About 2 or 3 months ago, I was in the middle of a sales meeting with one of my clients, or rather, my client was having a sales meeting with his sales team, and he was talking about screening calls to make to make sales more um, efficient. Now, that idea that the business owner was telling his sales team, which is you have to screen calls so that you can sell well, is part of what I want to talk about today. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast for any length of time, you already know that, Sha, we've been talking about it. It's just that I've been using a different word, been using a different name to describe the concept. But however, the feeling is very valid and the feeling is on point. If you are a salesperson selling on behalf of somebody else, you should screen your calls so that you're only paying attention to the people who it is profitable to pay attention to. Because it's not everybody that is profitable to talk to today. Some people are interested today. Some people are close to paying money today. Some people are closer to the finish line today. Those are the people you should be talking to. So you should be screening who you talk to. Just like that business owner said. Also, the whole point about screening is you also now be getting rid of people that you have no business talking to. Because some people are not interested. Some people are interested, but they're just kind of curious. It's not as if they have an urgent need. It's not as if they need to pay this money today. You owe it up to yourself if you're a professional salesperson. Even if you're not a professional salesperson, you're a business owner, you're the CEO, you're the founder, you're the chief rainmaker, you're the whatever it is you call yourself. But so long as you are the one who bears the brunt of bringing customers into the business, you owe it up to yourself to screen the people that you're talking to. So I've been talking about it already on the podcast. The word that we use traditionally in business, or rather in sales, is qualify. Some people prefer to say pre-qualify. The idea behind pre-qualifying just means I will talk to people and I'll sort them out. The ones that are worth spending my time with, I will continue. I will do things to make sure that I separate the wheat from the chaff so that I will only pay attention to those who are worth spending time with. Now, before we start going into a little bit more detail, just to define a few things, especially for those of you who are listening to the podcast for the first time. Now, qualification, first of all, is a process. Any process that we come up with where we're trying to figure out what does this person want? Does this person want anything? Does this person need anything? Is this person interested? I mean, this person is just curious. Does this person have money? Can the person afford this thing? Does the person need this thing now? Are they ready to pay now? Any process that we pass people through, that's what we're going to call qualification or pre-qualification, depending on who you're talking to. But in your business, there should be a process for sorting people through so that by the time we run them through the process, we ask all the questions or we put them through all the hoops, we'll be left with people who have a want, who have a need, who are interested, who can afford it, and who want to take action today or who want to take action next week or next tomorrow. But shall we have a vague idea? They're okay. They're going to be, sorry, I don't mean vague per se, but I mean like we have an idea. There's something we can point to say, you know what, next month, 2 months' time, 3 days' time, these people are ready to take action. So the first part of screening, as that business owner put it, is this. You need to be figuring out, do people want it? Do they need it? Are they interested? That's the first part. And some of you be wondering, like, how? Well, it's very easy. You ask people. One way that I've told people to ask is just by saying that, oh, okay, how come you're asking about this thing today? Are you just curious? Maybe you're trying to make research. Sorry, excuse me. It's an okay question to ask. Are you curious? Abi, you're just making research. Some of you are afraid of asking, and I understand. But honestly speaking, nothing bad is going to come from asking these kinds of questions. Because the good thing is, some people will say, yeah, I am just doing research. My brother in law bought a blah, 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 blah. So I was just asking. In that case, the flow of the conversation will be different. Like, oh, okay, cool. You're curious, no problem. I'm willing to give you all the information that you need. What would you like to know? Then you guys have a good conversation. You build some rapport. You now know that, okay, this guy is just in the research stage. And you know that this is not the kind of person that you're going to be chasing every single day or calling back every single week because not just research. Now, an example of how I've done this for one of my clients, some guys that I'm working with at the moment, they're software developers, and they've come up with a solution that is supposed to help Nigerian entrepreneurs start their businesses, quickly and affordably. So, in trying to create the call script, one of the questions I've been testing out is, I'm talking to someone, and it's one of the things I ask them. Like, oh, you're a founder. The guy says yes. We talk a bit about that. I'm like, oh, do you have a software background? Or another question I ask is, do you have a chief technical officer? Another question I ask is, oh, are you just doing some research? Because the answers to these questions would tell me whether they have a want, whether they have a need, whether they're interested. If I start you a software developer and the person says, oh, yeah, I'm a software developer, I'm a senior engineer. I say, senior engineer, kwa? So that means you've been doing this thing for a while. I say, yeah, I've been doing this for about 15 years. The person that answers like that, I'm a senior engineer, I've been doing this for about 15 years, and I ask him, oh, which school did you go to? Oh, I went to Zaria and I studied software development, something, something. That kind of person, do you think that person really has a need for automated software development services when the person has the skills to do it himself? So you see that I've been saying that there are ways you can stylishly ask somebody one question. Meanwhile, the information you're looking for, is in another place. I asked somebody, no, oh, you're a founder. The guy says, oh, yeah. We started the business, blah, 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 blah. And then I ask another innocent question. Oh, okay, cool. Do you have a tech background? Do you have a software background? Are you a software developer? I just ask casual like that. Based on how the guy answers, I am getting the information that, oh, okay, this guy really doesn't need it because he has the skill set to do the job by himself. You see? This is why I say sales is a creative endeavor. You ask them one question, then you're able to gain some insight to what is really at the back of their mind. If the person says, "Oh no, I don't have a tech background. No, I'm not I'm not a software developer," I ask him, "Oh, so any of your boys in your team, do any of them know computer code?" And I hear what they have to say. Or I ask him, "Do you have a chief technical officer?" And I hear what it is that they have to say. Based on the answer, I will now know whether it's a fit or not, whether they have a want, a need, or they're interested. If the person says, oh, I'm partnering with 5 other guys, none of us know guy, we don't know anything about code at all, at all, at all. We don't get CTO. Okay, there might be a want, there might be a need, they might be interested because these people need to develop the software component for their business and none of them have the skills. Sales requires some creativity. We're doing detective work. Do they have a want? Do they have a need? Are they interested? If you go out and ask somebody, are you interested? Of course, they will say, yes, I'm interested. So you look for ways to just engage them in conversation, just convo. 2 guys just talking, or one guy talking to a girl, or one girl talking to a guy. So just normal conversation. Then there's some people that I just straight up ask them, like, oh, okay, okay, cool, you're a founder. Especially for people that they claim to be founder. When I ask for the business idea, they can't say anything concrete. Any traction, nothing. I just ask them, oh, so are you just doing some research? There's some people who admit that, yes, we want to start this thing in the future. We want to do this. We want to do this. We are just doing research. Clearly, the we are just doing research person does not have a want, does not have a need. Yeah, he's kind of interested. Might be interested for the future, but definitely not today. So in sales, we call this qualification. That business owner, that when I was sitting in their meeting, he was telling his staff, he say screen. So if you don't like the technical, all the big terms we're using, everybody understands screening, Abby. Screen. As you're talking to people, you suppose they screen, filter them, push some people to the left, push some people to the right, leave some middle in the center. And then you decide the people that are on the left, are they important? The people that are on the right, are they important? The ones in the middle, is that where I should pay my attention to? But either way, we separate the wheat from the chaff. Then we know who we are facing. Then, based on the answers that they give, there's some people that I just have to tell them now, you know what, based on what we've spoken about so far, it looks as if we can't, there's like we can't help you at the moment. So I don't think there's any need to continue this conversation. Abi, what do you think? I asked them like that. And there's some people that say, you know what, really, there's no need. If so and so changes in the future, I will call you back. And then we end it there. And then when we end it there, those people, I remove them from the list. There's no point in calling them again. Now you see how my life is made easier. So if yesterday on the list I had 20 people to call, I finally reached the guy today, and we've both agreed that there's no need, and I removed the person. Good. Tomorrow, is it not now 19 people I'm facing? Some of you are afraid of knocking people off the list. Knocking people off the list is a good thing. The more people you remove from the list, the more people that you don't have to waste your time with all this. Hey, what's up? I tried calling you. Oh, I just went by your office. Oh, it's been a while. I'm just trying to touch base. Are you good for a quick catch up call tomorrow, 8 o'clock? You know, all these funny games that we play. When we knock somebody off the list, it is good. The work you have to do has reduced. The chances that you're spending time with people who are interested and people who want to go ahead, it goes up. Do not be afraid of knocking people off the list. If you're knocking people off the list, it's a sign of one thing. It's a sign that you're not talking to too many people. That's the reason why I say prospecting covers all sins. Prospecting is the practice, the discipline, the strategy behind, who is interested in my product or my service, how can I go about starting conversations with them, things like that. If you're not doing prospecting, you'll always be desperate. If you're only talking to two people every single month, you will be afraid to disqualify one person and say, oh, it looks like I can't help you. Because in your mind, you know that if I drop this person, then it means this month I'm only talking to one person. So we should always be prospecting. We should always be talking to people. If you're talking to 20 people every month, the stress on your head will be plenty. You won't be feeling as if, guy, these people are too much. Let me see how I can be reducing the unserious people. Let me focus on the choice people. So, prospecting. Who might be interested in my product? Who might be interested in my service? Where do they hang out online? Where do they hang out offline? How can I start conversations with them? We should be doing this. That's what will give you the security to start deleting some people from your list. Like, okay, this guy is not serious. Delete him. Chukudi, I've been talking to him. Let me even check my record self. Okay, Chukudi, we know the yarn for like 1 month. Are we making progress? No progress. You know what? Let me delete Chukudi. On to the next one. Then, afford. That is also part of the screening process. Part of screening is you just go ahead, ask them, are you willing to invest XYZ amount? Are you able to spend XYZ amount? In fact, one way that I asked someone, I think this was last week. So, excuse me. So, this was last week, and I had some concerns that the guy would be able to pay. So, I just asked him, okay, based on what we've spoken about so far, we're looking at roughly between this amount on the high end, this amount on the low end. And I asked him, is this something that you can willingly, that you can comfortably pay out of pocket? I just asked him because he works for somebody else, but our guy is not going to pay it. So I went ahead and asked him, is this something you can pay for out of pocket? And the guy's like, bros, ground no level. I said, I understand, my brother, I understand. So now I know because I've tried to screen that. Excuse me, because I've tried to screen, now I know the guy can't afford it. But to screen, you ask. Now, the formula that I've been giving lots of you, and I'm glad that some people have started trying it because I've been getting some feedback. People say, "Oh, I tried this thing, it works." So that's one formula. You give a high end, you give a low end. No, based on what we've spoken about, it could cost this amount on the high end, this amount on the low end. Then you ask the person, is that reasonable to you? Is that something you'd be willing to invest in? Uh, so what do you think? Another question I've asked is, okay, I've given you a range. Where do you find yourself in this range? Well, we need to look for conversational ways of asking. So if you give somebody a range that, oh, look, anything between 250 and 750, and then you ask the person, where do you see yourself? And the person says, guy, may I not lie you. Me, I'm closer to that 250,000 naira range. Okay. Now you're having a sense of whether this person can afford and what this person can afford. But either way, you should ask. And that's the reason why I keep telling people that we bring up money early and we bring up money often. Don't be shy. You're doing yourself a favor, you're doing the other person a favor. If somebody is close, if somebody is a 150k kind of person and the cheapest thing you do is 250, you are doing the other guy a favor by bringing it up early that you are 100k above his budget so that both of you can break up in peace and go your separate ways. Now, one thing that this particular client of mine did, we came up with together, and it made a difference for their sales. Well, it hasn't made a difference for their sales yet, but it has made a difference to the quality of people that they're talking to, is trying to pre-qualify through price because they were running advertising campaigns. And so we started putting the price in the advertising campaign. It's not as if you put an exact price, but you just say, so and so available from 2.5 million. So in your advertisement, when you put available from 2.5 million, in theory, the person who has 1.8 million will not call you. The person who thinks 2.5 million seems all right will call you. So pre-qualifying by putting the money in the advertising, it helps. So you can just put starting from so and so available December sales something 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 starting from 650k per one. Once you put it like that, the person who was thinking this kind of thing should be 250k for one, the person will, in theory, should not call you. Now, to be honest, it's not foolproof. There's some people who don't really read, and so they'll call you. But the thing is, the number of people who are calling you to say you won't collect 250, meanwhile, what you're selling is 650, the volume goes down. You're talking to a higher quality of people. So look for ways to include some kind of pricing information in your copy. That is how you pre-qualify people. That's how you scare them away. Some of you say, people will be afraid. That is the whole point. The person will want, fear. Let the person fear now and not call you. Instead of they call you and then you're trying your luck and then it's frustrating and then you're wasting your time. So remember, in your advertising campaign on Instagram or whatever, you can just say prices starting from, you put a number. In theory, anybody who sees themselves below that number will not bother. Just like last year, no, 2 years ago, when before we moved into this place, when we were looking for a new house, there's a place that I saw from the side, and I thought, man, this thing is solid. Like this place is, this house is correct, nice house. I said this thing will be expensive, but I said, let me just try. Let me try my luck. So as I just turned the corner now, and I went to the front, my wife was even with me that time. As we turned, and we saw flashing on gate boldly, the banner was there. The thing said apartments starting from 10 million naira. My wife said, Boo boo, there's no need to stop. Let's keep going. If we have that kind of money, we'd rather just go and get our own house instead of paying 10 million naira for rent. And we just kept driving. That's the beauty of that kind of pre-qualification. You have your estate. You put the banner boldly on the estate. You say prices starting from 10 million naira annual. People like me who don't want to pay 10 million naira every single year in rent will see that thing, then we'll now do U-turn, reverse, and we'll leave. We won't frustrate you by calling you. saying, hey, boy, Alpha, share you collect 3.5. So that's the whole idea behind pre-qualifying by putting up your prices. So if you don't know any formula, this is an easy formula. Prices starting from. If you need more ideas, go and use Google Gemini, use ChatGPT, use Claude, use Business Assistant by WhatsApp. You can come up with different ways to pre-qualify in your advertising by including the money, by including the price or including a budget. Now, I've spoken a lot about urgency in the past, and the idea behind urgency is, are you ready to take action now? It is also something you need to ask. So we'll talk about that in future episodes. I've already spoken a lot about this in the past, but since I've already done 20 minutes, I'm not going to bother with that now. So if this is your first time listening to the podcast and you're curious about urgency, it's not a problem. There are lots of other episodes. We've done well over 1,500 episodes. So just keep scrolling. Anywhere you see urgency, just stop and then play and listen. Or if you don't want to scroll, just use any of your AI tools. Use Claude, use ChatGPT, use whatever, and then tell them, I want to listen to a podcast episode from the Sales for the Nigerian Business Person podcast. I'm curious about episodes around this, that, and then you hit send. These AI tools are pretty impressive. They're now, I don't know how they do it, but you do that, and they actually do show my podcast episodes. So if you're curious, you know, has the host of the Sales for the Nigerian Business Person podcast made any podcast episodes about advertising? Bam, send. You'd be surprised. You think we'll say, oh yeah, he has. He has made a total of 20 episodes. I said, oh, okay, can you give me the links to those episodes on YouTube? The team will now give you the YouTube link, and then you now just go direct, listen to the episode direct. So you don't have to keep scrolling and scrolling. So, urgency. How soon would you like to take action? How come you thought about this today? Is there any pressing need at the moment? Is there a particular project that you're looking towards? Questions like that. We're just trying to figure out, do they need this thing now? So, whether you're talking to a sales professional who will call it qualification, or whether you're talking to your guy in the office and your guy is saying, come, una know they screen, more na screen, more na screen. So whether it's qualification or screening or whatever name that people call it, because we still have an apprentice culture in this part of the world. So you can be apprenticing under somebody, you can be talking to somebody, and the person will be using a particular word, whatever word it is that he's using. Spiritually, this is what we're talking about. Is the idea that it's not everybody that knocks on your door. It's not everybody that calls you on the phone. It's not everybody that slides into your DM. That, from a business perspective, it's not everybody who deserves your time or attention. Everybody is worthy of respect and equal dignity because we're all created in the image and in the likeness of God, but it is money we're looking for. So if somebody doesn't have a want, if they don't have a need, if it doesn't look like they're interested, and if it doesn't look like there's any sense of urgency, then I need to move them to one side so that the people who are interested and they look like they can afford it, and it looks as if, okay, well, they might want to take action next month or in 2 months. Okay, I'll pay attention to those people because from those people, I can even screen it again, squeeze it small, and get to the people who are actually ready to go. Now. So that's it. If you'd love to connect with me, you can call me, send me a text message or a WhatsApp message on 080-6466-2140. So thanks for your time and attention. I'll catch you all some other time.